Once again, I am working away with the laser engraver and cutter, working on some new things, some fun things for the Chateau. One is a sign for our upcoming exposition, and the other fun thing that I figured I'd work on is a fan. So a very kind guest of ours, Lisa, brought us this wonderful fan from China. Absolutely beautiful. And I thought I would sort of dissect it a little bit and see whether or not I can laser engrave and cut the pieces necessary to create a fan for us. So here we go. There's the circle. And then figuring out how many partitions I would need. Now, I know there's all sorts of different calculations when it comes to that. Depends on how far you want the fan to go, whether you want it that far, or even further. I'm also trying to figure out with the wood that I've currently got for the machine, how thick it's going to get. So I have these Chicago screws, and I figure that's probably my maximum height. So I figured, based on the 3mm wood that I've got for the laser engraver, I can get 9 heights, or basically widths of it, into the Chicago screw. So I'm going to base it on 9 blades. I figured out dimension-wise what I needed as far as the fans go, or the blades or pieces of the blade. So I created these different shapes. The ones on the left here that are more blocked, I figured those would be the outside pieces. And then there's the blades on the inside, or the pieces on the inside that support the paper. Basically, it would be glued to that paper. So those are a slightly different shape. I wanted to make sure that the internal height, so basically the piece that gets stuck onto the paper, is a little thinner. I figured that out. I figured out the size of the hole necessary with the Chicago screw that I've got, and I've come up with this layout for the fan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test it out, and then we're going to get into some details and see, how we can make this look pretty. So my template seemed to work quite nicely. I did a very simple fan. So I played around with that for a little bit. I figured out a fan that goes that far. I mean, it's not quite as wide as the original one, but with the 9 individual blades, I figured that works quite well. So now let's see what we can do about adding some detail to it. So I started playing around with some textural elements. I figured with this one, I added the Manor and Maker logo, so that it's branded properly. But then I thought, if this wonderful texture, this blue texture here, is all engraved on the outside, then it'll give a really nice textural feel to it. And then on the inside blades, I thought, let's play around with some interesting natural forms. So some scrolls and some leaves, and then this owl icon. And then I also dropped in this STG DP, which is Saint-Germain-des-Prés, or the Chateau with a big C around it, so it's the Château de Saint-Germain-des-Prés. And we'll see whether or not this can all get cut out. So as far as the details go in this one, what I thought I would do is actually have a little fun with the graphics for the paper, and then I picked up some of those elements. So I found this beautiful texture. It's actually, I think, an old wallpaper, and really love the way that it looks. And then what I did was I took some of the elements off of here and added them into the handle. So now we're going to convert everything into workable files, like we do here in Lightburn. Great software. So now what I've got is the external pieces, the internal pieces, and I've set the different levels for them. So you can see the black line on the outside here is the cut line. So that is now set to 400 millimeters per meter. And then it's at 100% power because I obviously want to cut through the wood. So that is the maximum power. Same with the green here. I decided I wanted to see what would happen if I cut that out as opposed to just engraving it. And then the teal color at the top, which is all of this detail here, is engraved. So that's all the way up to 3,000 millimeters a meter, a minute, and down to 40% power. That way it should give me a good texture without obviously cutting through the wood. So now it's a matter of saving this out and getting it onto the machine. So we've got all of the elements to put together the fan. These are the internals. I've added some double-sided tape here so that I can attach the beautiful paper. There's the Chicago screw that will hold the whole thing together, and then two external pieces that will keep it nice and tight and allow me to adhere each side of this so that it will hold together. Let's assemble and see what happens. And there we have it. Few teething problems, couple of things that I figured out. One, a few of these details got a little too fine and have broken whilst I was putting it together. Also, the wood on the inside might be a little too light, so gotta find a balance there. Also, the paper that I've used is quite a thick stock, so opening and closing it does take a little bit of a trick. Fundamentally, it works. And that is really exciting. So now I just need to modify it and refine, and we will then be able to produce fans. This is very exciting. Another thing I really wanted to try is to see whether I can engrave on my water bottle. So I've done something really simple, just the Manor Maker logo and my name, and I have put the setting at 3,000 millimeters per minute at 40% power. I guess we'll see if that works. Hopefully it does it well. Otherwise, we'll have to run it again. So I've also taken out a few of these metal rods that basically work as a honeycomb in this enclosed machine so that the bottle can sit down into it. I've adjusted the height of the laser. And I guess we'll see if this runs. Let's quickly take a look and make sure that my framing is right. Yep, that looks about the right spot. So let's give it a shot and see what happens. Okay, after running a second pass, let's have a look and see what we got. Oh, look at that. That's kind of sweet. Hopefully you can see, there we go. So there's my name and the M&M logo. I quite like that. It's subtle. I think we could go a little stronger with it in the future, but generally I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. The last project I wanted to do for this video was a sign, a permanent sign for an exhibition that we hold at the Chateau every year. So it is consistently every year, but obviously the dates change. So I wanted to make sure I could just update the dates on it. So what I did is I built a little pocket on the back. This way we can slide in a new piece of paper every year with the new dates on it. Just like that. Pretty happy with that. It's a nice solid piece of wood. This is 5mm, so it should last us a good few years. And yeah, I will put some D-rings on this and we'll hang it up outside.